And welcome back to episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, your boy Eli.
It's me, Joe.
And we're here to talk about Kenobi episode 4 and Miss Marvel episode 1, the recently released new Marvel show, which came out of nowhere for us. I don't think we knew this was coming to
I feel like we saw the trailer, and I guess we kind of forgot the date because I think
Yeah.
as I was preparing to watch Kenobi, you were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Miss Marvel came out. We should talk about that." And it's like, what?
I'm not fine. I'm not okay with this.
You left me unprepared. I was like a man with his pants down, unprepared.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about Kenobi first. I'm going to talk about Miss Marvel. I do feel like we might have more to talk about Miss Marvel since there's a lot of talk before and now after. Well, I don't know about after, but there's a lot of talk before the show.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, we'll start off with Kenobi. We know that the whole plan is to get them out, and we're introduced to the huge networking that helps, the Jedi's escape.
Yeah, the Way is what they call it. It's kind of like a Star Wars version of the Underground Railroad.
Yes, we did talk about that.
Yeah, because we mentioned it briefly. But here it's more of Obi Wan's getting healed up in the back to tank, but obviously, he's like, we gotta get Leia. Where is she? She's been taken by third sister Reva on their little like water moon planet. I forget the name of the planet. They say the name.
They do, but it's the one that's in Fallen Order.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
Yeah.
And then it's like Reva's like essentially trying to interrogate a small child, which, I mean,
That never works.
yeah, that usually never works. I mean, man, just friggin' Leia just gets from early on, she's getting interrogated by the Empire. Since this is gonna be a recurring thing for her for her life. And they Obi Wan and I forget the name of the Imperial officer.
Yeah, it was called her Imperial Officer Lady.
I mean, someone will look the name up soon. But yeah, no, they plan this whole thing of like, I still have my Imperial clearance. Let's see if we can like get you in and get you out. So you can save Leia and then we can get out. Pretty standard plan. Obviously, plan does not go well. There's a lot of like she has to like keep being like a regular Imperial officer. She knocks a guy out. We got Obi-Wan's having to go through this like all these hallways trying to avoid these drone bots. That like will detect any presence. He does use a bit of the Force. Do some distractions and stuff. So that's interesting.
But essentially, like it's a whole breakout, and part of me, I'll be honest, part of me was like, is Reva about to find out that Leia is Force sensitive?
It doesn't see. Well, I mean, the thing is that if Leia's Force sensitivity never really, I feel like it doesn't show up until Return of the Jedi.
Well, I would argue towards the end of Empire Strikes Back when she hears.
Oh yeah. You are right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like probably as a child she never really got much. Maybe it was like glimpses of Force sensitivity, but she never really thought about it. But of course, it was probably until the end of Empire Strikes Back that sort of like I feel like as the audience is like, oh, she's Force sensitive.
Which I remember a lot of people saying no, she wasn't, but I'm like, no, she was.
Nah, I think it's more people like who see stuff in the sequels. It's more of like she had like Force, just more like just basic Force stuff, and then through the expanded lore of Star Wars nowadays, she does at least get some training. But obviously, they explained it in the sequel trilogy that she did some training, but then she's just like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, she got what she wanted.
Yeah.
But as we were with the story,
Yeah, Obi Wan, manages to get to Leia. He actually finds this freaking,
Oh, the horror scene.
yeah, where it's like all these freaking,
Dead Jedi's.
yeah, there have been like basically not like the equivalent of getting like carbonated, right?
Yeah.
But like way worse. Like they're just like entombed in some weird like
Goo.
goo thing forever. Like there's even like a youngling that's been entombed, which is like all kinds of fucked.
Oh no, yeah, no. If you did not meet the end of Anakin's lightsaber, you just got drowned for the whole rest of your life.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what Reva's tries to do to Leia because she's like, "You're not giving me the answers. I'll force you to do it," which is like, "Goddamn." It's like once you see the youngling, it's like, okay, Reva is just straight up a monster. But the Imperial officer lady creates a distraction to give Obi-Wan time to rescue Leia. Uh, it's a huge breakout scene. Obi-Wan has to hold back like the glass because they're underwater and stuff for a little bit until it's safe for him to like just.
I'm surprised they kept chasing after him, knowing that. Well, I don't think they knew, but it seemed very foolish. But then again, when have the stormtroopers not been idiots?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the stormtrooper ideology is usually just like we have the greater numbers, therefore we win, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
But yeah, they managed to escape thanks to the help of the sort of the people working for the way.
Yeah.
They get some speeders or whatever to get out.
Were they not A-wings? No.
No. They're the things. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, they're speeders from.
Yeah, from the Walker scene from the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. It's like, why are A-wings moving this precise? But then oh no, you're right. They are the speeders. And then like some dude gets a I was gonna say nerf, but he gets
killed. Yeah,
he gets murked.
Yeah,
murked hard.
Yeah. And it's there is a bit of a tense scene afterwards with Vader, and he's like, "You let them escape. I'm going." Obviously it's like
I'm going to kill you.
I told you failure was not an option, third sister. You will die. But Reva's like, "Don't worry. I put a tracker. Like we'll find them and the headquarters of this way, organization. We'll get them all." And Vader's like, pretty much like, all right, I'll trust you for now, because obviously, he wants Kenobi. And we find out that because during the interrogation scene, she finds Lola, Leia's little droid thing, and she sort of messes around with it a little bit, and he sort of kind of also just explaining like, I've had a droid too, and I lost it, like I lost all things when I was young. Definitely sort of setting up that backstory.
Yeah.
For Reva, and at the end of the episode, we see Lola activating, and she has a red, like her eye, like her little eye thing turns red.
Yeah, it's the fact that she's been tampered with.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, because like I was like, when the fuck did she put like a track? Oh, there's the answer.
Yeah, I was like, when she said that, I'm like, when did she do that? I'm like, I don't think I saw her get throw something at the thing, but then I'm like, oh wait, she was messing with the droid, and it's like, oh okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. All right.
It all so far for me, I feel like this is pretty much a pretty like solid. I think for as time goes on, I think Kenobi is a very solid show. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, but when they do talk about sort of Obi-Wan's past and like him trying to, come back from his, dark moments, I think those are points where the story is really strong. Now, granted, I'm saying that so far in, I do like the scenes with Leia and her, being involved in this bigger thing. Though I wish it was a little less, in a sense where like, I don't know how the best way to explain it, but it's more of like later on, how the hell does Vader, deal with this? He's known that she's been kidnapped. He knows the situation with her. That kind of stuff. Like, how does this fit? I guess my question is, how is this gonna fit in the timeline?
And well, I mean, are you asking like your question is more of like how does Vader respond to Leia?
Mm-hmm. And now, granted, this is I'm gonna be fine with it if he doesn't get involved as much.
I mean, so far as to say, like, I'm pretty sure he kind of doesn't care
Yeah.
because I feel like the Vader that is in the show right now is sort of like I guess Prime Vader. He's all in with hunting Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
all that sort of stuff. Because I feel like the Vader we sort of get in the original trilogy, he's like aggressive, right?
Yeah, towards Leia.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, is that I'm pretty sure Vader never really knows that Leia is his daughter until obviously Return of the Jedi, when he finds out Luke has a sister.
Mm-hmm.
But as to like who his sister is, I don't think Vader knows.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I think I guess your concern is that does Vader see Leia? Does he get like a connection? I guess.
Yeah. Will this come back to Bail Organa? You know.
Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know. It's entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, like obviously like Bill Organa himself gets involved with the rebellion.
No, no, of course.
So it probably does this whole ordeal does maybe like lend itself to both Leia and Bill Organa sort of
Mm-hmm.
getting into that sort of mindset of like the Empire isn't right, we need like a rebellion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like I feel like Vader's sort of obsession with Obi Wan is obviously still gonna be a thing, but
No, no, of course, no. I'm not saying but I'm saying is that what you're saying earlier is that one, there, you know, Leia, I feel like has a very important role in the story. Obviously, I don't want to diminish her role, but it's also like, man, I'm wondering how this is gonna fit in the timeline kind of stuff. Now, granted, this all could be alleviated towards like in the next few episodes. Also, it might not, and I wouldn't mind if it didn't because like it's from what I'm getting, it's still a story about Obi Wan Kenobi, and it's a very engaging story. And like we talked about in the last few episodes, in the last conversation, that it gives more context between those two's relationship, and you see that towards like the end where like Leia has a lot of like she's very comfortable with Obi Wan, and there's a huge trust that's now developed between these two characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad to see that. I just kind of want a little more consistency, is what I guess what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I interrupted yours.
No, it's not that.
Mhm.
I mean, as a whole, I mean, I feel like this episode is I I I guess probably like I guess I would say the weakest only because the first three episodes have been very consistent in just having a lot of
Mhm.
great moments and great storytelling.
Mhm.
Here, it's a standard breakout sequence.
Yeah.
Um, like it it's sort of like, oh, Leia's been taken by Riva at the end of the last episode, but we get her back in this episode.
Mhm.
It's there's not much consequence, but obviously
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
be more ramifications in
Mhm.
later in these last two episodes. So that's gonna be a very interesting thing to see how that all sort of transpires by the end. But yeah, Obi Wan, Obi Wan Kenobi show. Uh, I think
Pretty solid.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Definitely gonna be hoping to see more episodes for that.
Oh, there's only 2 episodes left.
I mean, yeah, I know, but it's gonna be interesting how I guess it all wraps up at the end, right?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing we're both looking forward to. Now on to Miss Marvel, which is the one I think we're going to be talking about the most. Not going too much into it. Essentially, it is a standard origin story, where Kamala is trying to do what she wants, but overbearing parents are a thing.
Like Kamala is very sort of imaginative.
Oh, she is very imaginative. She's a daydreamer. She loves the nerd culture, essentially the superhero culture that we have here, and it's very apparent in the first 15 minutes of the. I don't say 15 minutes. The first like few minutes of the episode, where she does like a huge recap. She has her own YouTube channel.
Yeah,
where she does like little animations and stuff, and I am very impressed with what she's done. It's kind of fun. It's really cool, and that translates throughout the whole episode. Like there's moments where like little chalk drawings are following them while they're describing their thoughts on a certain thing.
Yeah.
And like whenever they text each other, they don't do that thing where in most like teen shows where they're texting each other
and you see the little like text icons in the middle.
No, but this one it's like it's in the background and it's a cool little like design with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's really clever. It's really clever and also very artistic, and I really like it. Have you seen the trailer? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the show has a very it has a very distinct style to it when it comes to how it visualizes certain elements, and it looks pretty fun. But yeah, like her whole she's like having she's a typical high schooler, right?
Yeah.
She gets kind of like weird looks because she's like the weird kid. I mean, she does have friends,
She does have friends, and they're cool friends.
Yeah,
but also like it's one of those things where like it happens in shows and it annoys me. It's like, wow, everyone's kind of a piece of shit to this person. It happened in Stranger Things. It's happening here too, but like here it's at least not as terrible.
No, because it just seems more like just typical like high school, you're just a weird kid. Who cares about you, whatever. And she's just having like standard teen problems. Obviously, she's like, I want to go to Avenger Con, which is like
their version of a Comic Con.
Yeah, but it seems like it's their first ever.
Yeah,
like they're hosting it at Camp Lee, which is birthplace of Captain America, and that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And she's like, I want to go, Mom and Dad, and the mom's like, no, I don't want you to go there, with like dressing up in those skimpy clothes and stuff.
And I think this is where we're going to go into like more of the discussion, right? Just the representation, because one thing that it's clearly priding itself over, it's like this is a very the first Muslim hero we're adapting, and we're gonna be talking about the fact that these are people of a certain group of certain culture on TV. We're not gonna deny that, and that's apparent throughout the whole thing. There's literally a sequence where Kamala and her mom is just walking around the town, experiencing their culture, and there's a moment where and I can relate to this. I'm not Muslim. I'm Mexican American, Chicano, whatever you want to call it. I'm here. I heard all of them, and there's a moment where there's two adults talking about the children being weird from what they are used to, because clearly these are immigrant families.
Yeah.
and minorities, and I'm like, oh, I know, I've had these conversations, or I've heard these conversations before, in like a normal setting, and these are very normal to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something I appreciate, that I see, but also like Kamala just being trying to be herself, but also trying to be respectful to her family, which is very much what's going on throughout this whole episode, right?
Yeah, yeah. She wants to be her own person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's very clear that like her parents are more, or
Mm-hmm.
especially your mom is like you gotta focus on your studies. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta, you know,
Well, not just her mom, her fucking her guidance counselor too.
yeah. Her guidance counselor is like, hey, listen, all right, you gotta stop doing all this daydream stuff. Look in the mirror and be like, what does Kamala Khan, look like in 10 years or
Yeah,
whatever,
and she's staring off in the distance, man. Like
And he's like, hey, are you daydreaming right now? Like, come on, let's
we
get
we,
serious
we
here.
just had this conversation like 2 seconds ago.
Like, we just barely started talking here. Come on, let's get serious.
Yeah, and like I like that guy, by the way. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And just like that kind of thing, which like I can totally get that as a kid who, I mean, when I was a kid, I was very much a daydreamer, kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I still kind of am. But also like, wow, I totally get where this kid's coming from, and I totally understand not only her perspective, but also I get the parents, because like I see what they're doing as an adult now. I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, you are very loving parents, and I love that about you guys, right?
Yeah, because, like, obviously, like I said, the whole, like, crux of the episode is that Kamala wants to go to Avengers Con, but her parents won't let her.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, they try to compromise, and it's like, all right, we'll let you go, but, your dad's going to take you.
And I'll be honest, I'm like, okay, I'm with this. I'm with this. I know he's just like, your dad's gonna be there. He's gonna go in with you for 2 hours, and he'll let you have the rest of the night fun, whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, by the way, here's your costume, the Hulk,
You get to dress as you get to go as matching Hulks. Yeah.
with your dad. And I'm just like, oh, oh, the cringe. The cringe is very strong in this one.
Yeah, I mean it's typical like parents wanting to fit in with their child's interests but failing to like grasp the nuance, I guess.
Yeah, because like,
Um
I mean, she said she wanted to dress up as Captain Marvel, and if you once you walk into her room, which by the way, I like how there's like actual comic book posters in her room,
mhm.
which is really cool. But also, you do know once you walk in, there's a lot of like, you know, Captain Marvel though, right?
Yeah, but again it goes to show that as much as they care for their daughter, they're not fully like versed in her interests and
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Yeah, because and it's such a real world thing because like I have a lot of stuff that in my room that my folks would be like, "What's this about? What's that about?" Or like they'll try to pick an interest, but they have a big understand. It's a very relatable situation, is what I'm saying, and I like that they did that with Kamala and her folks because one, it's like, oh, you like you can appreciate the fact that they're trying, but it's also like, oh no, you done goofed. Yeah, you went too far, and it's a very like relatable scene
Mhm.
where I'm like, yeah, no, I can see that happening for like any kid really who has an interest in something that their parents might not have an understanding on. Like you and your dad or whatever can like talk about sports, but if your kid is like is not into sports and is into like I don't know, give me a topic.
Fortnite.
Yeah, if your kid's into Fortnite, you're not gonna be like, what is this Fortnite thing over jiggy?
Yeah. It's classic, and I do. I mean, yeah, and whenever we go to cons or stuff, and we do see like the occasional parent there, it is nice that they're trying
Yeah.
to be supportive and stuff. Not to this extent where they're just like
Oh, I'm dressing up too.
I'm dressing up too. I'm the Hulk. Let's go.
You're little Hulk, and like, oh,
You're the little Hulk, and I'm the big Hulk. This is cool. um, but yeah, it's I do agree. It is a relatable aspect of the show, and I think that's the one aspect of the show that is, I think, what they are planning, what they've, I think, done well enough of like, yeah, like I think Kamala's whole character for the most part is that she's an in-universe fangirl.
which is true to the comic.
Yeah, and as much as that's, I know that for some people that's very it's not like a character that they're personally into, like a of a in-universe fangirl or fanboy or whatever, that stuff. I'm fine with it for the most part, as long as it doesn't get too like
meta.
Yeah,
it can get meta at some points, especially in this show. But like it's always what I find interesting is that they found a way, because Kamala in this isn't that there's a little difference between her and in the comics. I feel like in the comics she was a little more responsible, like she has a sense of responsibility. Here she's a little more like fangirly.
Yeah.
But this is what she wants to do, and I think they made it in a way that's sort of relatable, like I said earlier, because like if you're a fan and your folks aren't of that kind of stuff, but they're trying to, it's always kind of like, that awkward phase, right? Where even you can do it now with, you can look back at anything. It's like, it's a very relatable thing. And one of the big crux about Kamala is her Muslim heritage. So this is like a nice way to incorporate that into the story. Obviously also she has like, a brother who like, props to the bro. Props to that bro.
Yeah, because he's the one that helps them more or less.
Yeah.
Convinces the parents to let her try to go.
Yeah, because at first they were like, no.
Yeah, and the older brother, he's a solid bro,
Yeah.
He's trying to like help his sister out in any way he can.
Yeah, no, it's like, and like he's like, listen, like, I know what you're saying. I got you. Let me talk to them.
Yeah.
They'll listen to me. And well, it's just a very kind and like her brother is a little different in the comics. I think he wasn't, because in the show they're just like he's getting married. I don't remember if he was in the comics he was getting married. I think he was still like living with them. Yeah, but he was but he was still shown to be a very caring older brother, and I'm happy to see that. Her friends are also cool. Bruno, who is one of my favorite characters because he's such a chill dude. They made him like a tech whiz in this show. I don't know if they're gonna go through with him having a thing for Kamala, which I think they are.
I mean, it kind of seems like that.
Yeah,
definitely are like moments where like, does he have a thing for this girl? But it's whatever. But yeah, more or less, as the story continues, like she has to sneak out to get to Avengers Con, because that's a typical teen escapade in a teen show that they have to do.
Yeah.
They get there and they see this. I think probably one of the popular girls. Her name's Zoe. She's also there and she's participating in this Captain Marvel cosplay. And Kamala's like, I like Captain Marvel. She's my favorite like superhero. I'm gonna win this cosplay. But why is she here? She doesn't even like the Avengers.
Oh, that was such a relatable moment.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's every nerd right now who grew up and like seeing these random people at cons or whatever. But you know what? We all love the same thing. Let's all have fun.
Yeah.
But I do find it funny how you mentioned this to me, and I was thinking it the whole time. I was like, oh shit, she does have a very like classic Miss Marvel look.
Yeah, because Kamala sort of like says that like when she looks at like Zoe's Captain Marvel cosplay, and she's like, she doesn't even look. That's not even accurate or whatever. And looking, I think when I looked at it, it kind of resembles like Carol Danvers' original like Miss Marvel costume.
Yeah, the one piece.
The one piece with the little strap or whatever.
There wasn't even a hint to it, like when she was about to put a little strap on hers. When Kamala was making her cosplay.
Yeah, so like, it's interesting. I mean, granted, it's not the same. It's not like the black and yellow. It's
No. But it's like, and like damn near like almost similar.
yeah, it's similar enough, right?
It's color palette too.
Yeah.
But it's also just like the hair too. It
Mm-hmm.
was very puffy.
And I think she has like that like similar looking mask. So like yeah, I mean that's kind of I won't lie. That's like one Easter egg of like reference because obviously like I don't think they'll ever
No, they're not gonna do that costume.
yeah like especially like because that was not even from regular this version of Miss Marvel obviously because I don't think she has that either. Um, but yeah, it's a very interesting thing and Kamala for her cosplay she's gonna have these power gloves but she brought like a little bracelet that her that like I guess her grandma sent over. And like the mom was like, "It's all just junk. Just put it in the attic."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm gonna give my own little flair to it. My own little heritage or whatever to it." And she puts it on, and clearly, it's some sort of
Power cosmic thing.
yeah, because she starts immediately she starts glowing. Her eyes glow a little bit, and she's like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And then like as she's up on the stage of class, like all the flashing lights make her like freak out a little bit and starts shooting out like these little things, and everybody's like, "Whoa, that's super cool!" And then it causes some commotion. But
man, people should have died.
Maybe, but listen, it's like a teen dramedy show, all right? I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
She's
like,
showcasing.
people were too happy for this situation. If that was me, I'm like, okay, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I know what's going on. This is a little too real.
I guess, but at the same time, these people are like here for a convention about the Avengers. They even have like a shrine for Black Widow and Iron Man.
Nice touch.
So clearly, like they're like, "Yo, this is so cool!" Like, and they're probably thinking it's all like stage effects and stuff just to like show off, but it's clearly not. By the end of it, like Kamala and Bruno get out, because it's like thankfully no one gets hurt, but there's a lot of commotion.
I mean, someone should be dead.
Yes, I know.
Just one person, I'm like, oh no, you should be dead.
Yeah. But she gets back home and obviously it's the classic try to sneak in back into the house without getting detected. Parent sees me and it's like I'm very disappointed in you, Kamala.
Good accent, by the way.
Yeah. And the mom's just like I'm very disappointed.
Is Nader okay with this?
Oh, my boy. Listen, he doesn't have to know. I don't think he even knows about the Miss Marvel show. I'll text him about it. I'll see what he responds because he is also Pakistani. So.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, she said she did. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah, she just gives the line like, "When
I don't even recognize you."
Yeah, it's like, are you going to be like a normal good girl like we raised you, or are you going to be just this daydreamer who dreams of being cosmic being, doing cosmic things or whatever? And it ends with her like looking at the bracelet and looking at her powers and stuff. Like, yeah, cosmic.
I think that's gonna be the crux for the show, right? It's gonna be like either or. It's a decision. It's the whole point of the show. Is she gonna be a good girl or is she gonna be the superhero? Obviously the answer's gonna be both, but it's the journey itself, right? And I think the thing about it is the thing that always made Kamala Khan is like she is this hero who is of a minority, and she takes pride in that minority. There's a reason why her outfit looks the way it looks. It's very meant to invoke that image. And I do. I think this is a great first episode. Obviously, we're gonna have to talk about the powers because that was a big issue back in before the premiere. And dude, I think I said it last time. I get the complaints. I do agree with it. And now I'm kind of more in line with those
criticisms.
Yeah, I think it's fine. There's a lot of changes, yes, but like the power sets really kind of like make or break for it. It doesn't ruin the show. It doesn't ruin the show for me, but it's very like kind of like, well, not to that extent. How we were talking in Halo, whenever Master Chief had his helmet off, it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
But like here, it feels a little off, but it's not enough for me to be like, just put the mask back on. Put the
Yeah.
helmet back on.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Because we do get to see that her user powers, like she's shooting out these little platforms or whatever, and we do get to see her actually like create like a big arm kind of thing. Granted, it's not her arm stretching, but it is like a big arm thing. And if you know her power set in the comics and stuff, like she has like stretchy abilities more or less.
It's even more than just that, really. Too. It's just more of like she can make things bigger about herself. Like she can make herself have big feet, big arms, or whatever, or like it's called embiggen kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that much similar to Mr. Fantastic, but it has its differences, right?
Yeah.
And here it feels very like very off. Like it doesn't seem like it's Miss Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely feels because obviously like it's all in her gauntlet, right? Which I mean, I wonder what the backstory for that is because apparently like if that was something her grandma had, then like is this like a 10 rings situation here?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, where it's like this magical artifact that was passed down to a family member, you know, and has like vaguely space origins, you know. But yeah, it's interesting because obviously like the big one of the big things about Kamala is that she is a inhuman. That's how she gets her powers.
Tangent bomb.
Yep. So clearly that's not gonna be. It definitely seems like that's not gonna be the origin for her powers unless I don't know, like somehow that thing spits out Terrigen. Like maybe that thing she saw in the beginning is the Terrigen getting into her, which boy, that would be a very bizarre way of doing that.
Oh no, that you just freaked me out right now.
Like, listen. If that does indeed happen, I'm not gonna say I called it because I'm gonna be like, that's just weird. Why would you do it like that? But yeah, and clear it's all in the gauntlet. Now I don't.
It's not 2 gauntlets. I thought it was gonna be 2. It's just 1.
Yeah, it's just 1, which is
weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
But,
I don't know. Like, it seems. It's an interesting choice. I will say that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But I do feel like the show in of itself is still a really good show. It's also very creative, dude. Like so much like, you know, creative like way it's shot. Like the production in this was really well done. And like I said earlier, the little art stuff going on in the background, I love it. They made Kamala Kahn like this sort of like artist kind of girl. And I love everything she's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing much to say. But yeah, so far, Miss Marvel looks like to be one of the more better shows.
Yeah. I think. I think I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
I guess it is sort of for me. It's gonna be. I don't know. Personally, like a part of my brain just feels like there's gonna be a certain point where my brain's gonna be like, this is I can like this show, but I feel like it's not for me in terms of like, because I feel like that we're gonna get a lot of like teen drama stuff going on.
That's not one worry. That's one of the things that made me like pull away really to be as excited for Miss Marvel as I could have been, because it feels like it's gonna be one of those teen drama like, I don't know, I didn't even watch that much teen drama as growing up. Did you?
No, like I mean. I don't want it to turn into like, I guess like, Degrassi, but with.
I was thinking of Degrassi.
I mean, granted, I don't think we're gonna have a shot of Drake in a wheelchair, but
and that'd be one hell of a cameo.
And that would be, Drake shows up, gets shot in the back immediately, and then it's like I'm in a wheelchair now. Yeah, I'm liking it so far, but I definitely do think. Like, clearly the show... Like, I don't know. It's going to be that, and it's also probably, like, I'm really hoping that, like, Kamala's fangirling doesn't get to the point where I'm annoyed by it.
So far, it does not.
Yeah. So far, it doesn't. But there is a moment in my brain where I'm just going to be like, okay, you're going too far.
Yeah. Bring it back.
Yeah.
But thankfully, that doesn't seem like it's gonna be happening. Aside from that, like I said, we were talking about. I think it's a very solid show. Hopefully, I'm with you on that. But no, it's, like Kamala's a very relatable character. Like there are moments when I'm like, no, yeah, no, I could see that happening, and that kind of still, in a way, weirdly happens to some of us.
But yeah, overall, Kamala Khan seems to be starting off
Mm-hmm.
relatively well.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it continues that sort of momentum, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm good. I said all my thoughts. So I think it means it's the end of the episode, guys. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to follow us on all social medias at the Geek Centurions. We are most active on Instagram, but we do have a Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to check those out. And on Instagram, we find a link tree to all the podcasts that we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff. And of course, we have a link to the YouTube for all your audio listeners out there who want to put a face to the voice. And yeah, you like, comment, subscribe. Patreon's there for you guys to help us out in any form of way. Thank you for, and if you do, thank you so much. And yeah, that's about it. Come on, Obi Wan Kenobi and I'll keep going to call her by her name, Kamala Khan.
It's Miss Marvel, though.
It's Miss Marvel, yeah.
Show.
Miss Marvel, because like I know her as Kamala, as Miss Marvel. She's Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Yeah, but no, yeah, Miss Marvel. Solid show, great show. Start off, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, it's been me, your boy, Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
You guys have a good one. Peace.